worst places that I've ever been where they tell you the road's closed ahead of time. Well, this is probably worth checking out. And what I'm going to do is park right here and walk, because I don't want to get all the way up there and find I'm stuck. So I'll check this out. Okay, I walked down this double track here to the end, and there's a circle drive down there on the end. It has a beautiful view of the mountain. You can hear a brook or a stream running way down below. So I think it is just a beautiful spot, and I'm pretty excited about it. So here we go. We're going to mosey on real slowly along the trail here and camp there for a day or two. Too bad the smoke is concealing the mountains, rolling about as far as the eye can see. You can only see the closer ones right now. It's the Weasel Fire that's up by the Canadian border. It's both into Montana and into Canada. I tried finding some information out about the Weasel Fire, and it's rather difficult to really get a good sense on where the boundaries of that fire are and how fast it's moving in my direction. It's complicated by the fact that I don't have good cell phone reception here. But one of the things that I've been relying on is Gaia GPS, the mobile app, and there is a layer for current fires, so you can put that on and you can see where it is. The thing I haven't figured out is how is that being updated, especially when you don't have a cell phone signal or a very good one. Is that being updated somehow through satellite? And I doubt that. I suspect that is through an internet connection. So when I look at it, it looks like it's not moving, over the last several days. But it might be moving, and so I'm concerned about that. Pretty warm yesterday. It was, I think, 91. And then there was a 40-degree swing. It cooled off. I mean, it got cold. And today it's supposed to be around 92, so pretty warm again. But fortunately, I do have some shade. There are going to be some clouds this afternoon. But with all that smoke from the Weasel Fire that's up near the Canadian border, probably won't even be able to tell that there's clouds. We'll see. Would like to take some pictures. I did take a couple of pictures when I first arrived. I'm glad I did, because even then the smoke was hindering the view of the mountains that were in the distance. And there's some really big ones out in the direction directly behind me. and it was very pretty. I could see the layers of mountains. And so now that's completely obscured, and you don't even know that those mountain ranges are back there, and it's a shame. I am a little cautious. I am trying to monitor the situation best as I can with the fire. You know, I'm only about 12, 13 miles from it, 15 max, but as the crow flies, I think about 12 and a half or so. And, you know, I don't know how fast a fire can cover mileage. You know, what's the speed of a fire? I don't know, but it is close enough to be concerned. As I was traveling on the main gravel road to get to this camp spot, there were signs saying that the road was closed. That was, as I mentioned before, that was the first time I've ever seen the National Forest say that a road is closed. I've always driven just to find out that it's closed and have to turn around and go all the way back. And sometimes it's difficult to turn around when you hit the end of that road that way. So, yeah, it would have been nice if they say road closed, fire, you know, or something like that. It just said road closed. So in some ways, the National Forest Service is cryptic. You know, I get it. They're spread thin and stuff, but when you're out there trying to find a place to camp in the middle of nowhere in the dark, and you come up against these type of situations, it's frustrating. So, but again, my hat's off to the wonderful men and women in the National Forest Service. They do a wonderful job. Same with the BLM. Yesterday, late in the afternoon, early evening, I walked this dual track from the campsite up to the main gravel road, and then I headed in the direction which would be north, I guess, towards where the road apparently is closed, somewhere up there. And I found another dual track coming off of this gravel road, and I walked down it, and it eventually got to a place where it was blocked. You couldn't, if you were driving down that, you couldn't drive any further. But I went beyond that, and it actually went all the way down to the stream that's behind me now. And it was quite beautiful. And I put my hand in the water. It was really nice and cool. Not so cold that you couldn't swim in it, but you'd have to you'd have to have a little determination to swim in something that cold. Of course, it's not deep. I mean, you know, you couldn't possibly swim in it. But anyways, I want to show you some of that footage. I think you'll like it. I love camping where you can hear a stream gurgling and running along. I did run into one person that said that he didn't like that he wanted to be able to hear what's going on around him. This is bear country, black bear, grizzly bear. So I'm cognizant of that. I'm aware of it. I'm also aware that mountain lions are in the area. And you know, it doesn't hurt to look up in the trees every once in a while as well as scanning the landscape. I try not to be so absorbed with what I'm doing that I'm oblivious to what's going on around me. And I always carry bear spray. And as I say that, I realized I left my bear spray in the truck. Fortunately, I'm almost back to the truck here. So, but yeah, almost all the time I'm carrying bear spray on me. And as Nick said in the video about the mountain lion encounter with a forest ranger, or I'm sorry, with a BLM ranger, you know, if it's a cougar, I'm going to use whatever's available to me to keep them off of me. And I think bear spray would be a strong deterrent. If it can take down a bear, I'm sure it's going to have an equal effect on a wildcat. Look at this. Isn't this something? And this is when it's smoky. Still a wonderful view. Beautiful stand of wood. But I want to show you something here. I was walking along to go further down if I keep going, the trail goes downhill and you eventually can get down to the stream there. But I was standing right here and I thought, look at this pretty little piece of lichen moss. I'm not sure exactly what you call that, laying there on the ground. And I could take some pictures and I think I'd have a unique picture. Well, as I was standing here, I also noticed that there were some other things on the ground. So take a look at this. That's part of a branch of a pine tree, some of the tender stuff. And there are some older pieces of that. There's other pieces that look pretty fresh. I mean, you know, maybe days or so old, who knows. So then I thought, well, okay, that's weird. I mean, I don't find that all over the place. It's just a couple of pieces, right? So then I thought, well, it had to come from this tree right next to me. Well, this particular tree is leaning. And so I thought, if it's leaning, maybe something went up the tree and knocked those things off of it. As you can see, that, I'll call it lichen, is growing on this particular tree. And I noticed that there are these gummy, gluey gobs in various places along there. And so then I started thinking, well, okay, this bark here is pretty dark, but stuff that's been exposed means little pieces have been knocked off of it. And then I started looking even closer, thinking, okay, if something went up this and knocked that stuff off, it had to be fairly big. And I noticed this. There is what appears to be a claw mark dug into this, and it would have knocked the bark off and fallen off. And so it's quite possible that that was a wildcat, and it could have gone up into the tree. So then we walk out here just a short
12 feet or so. Let's put our foot there for comparison. I don't know what kind of feces that is, but it is right close to the base of this tree here, so that adds a little more credibility to it in my mind.
And so I was watching another YouTube video, and the guy said that he looks up in trees as he's hiking along just periodically. So I've been doing that too. As I'm walking, I just kind of glance up around me. I also scan the countryside, the woodlands, just quickly every once in a while to make sure that, something's not out there looking at me, stalking me, headed in the other direction, whatever. I do want to try to be safe somewhere out there. There's a person. There's a cat, wildcat, a bear, or who knows what. I mean, this is the home of animals, right? All right, enough of that.
Well, it's Sunday morning, and just a beautiful smoky morning. I thought I could stay here for a week very easily, but the air quality, because of the Weasel Fire up on the Canadian border, has made the air quality unhealthy for sensitive groups. It's 104, so I'm packing up. I'm going to leave this morning and I'm going to head south. Not quite sure where yet, but because of that air quality warning, it's time to hit the road. Oh, I'm going to miss this place. I really, really do like it and wanted to do a lot of hiking and exploring out here. Even thought about doing some laundry. There's a water supply down there that I could use, but no such luck.